mentioned that the ministry is working on a decree for civil works permit. And my question is, what type of decree is it? Is it going to be a LB or MB, MR? So what type of decree is it? And the minister also mentioned, through Madam Chair, that the decree is in the final stages. So what I would like is to know if Parliament can get a draft of what the criteria is for the current decree. So what the criteria is for the current decree. And also, am I or we as a body of Parliament to assume that this only counts for permits going forward? So this decree only counts for permits going forward. In answering the question by yourself, Madam Chair, regarding the grace period, the minister mentioned that the grace periods would be on a case-by-case basis. So, and it can be granted for all. So how many of these grace periods have you granted, Minister? What was the criteria for these grace periods? So if you gave a grace period, what was that criteria for those grace periods? And what were the varying times of these grace periods? So one was 10 weeks, one was 2 months, one was a day. What were the varying times of these grace periods? And last, regarding that question, what is the legal basis for granting or not granting those grace periods? Madam Chair, through you, and I've heard you mentioned in the past that ministers really should be careful on the floor of Parliament discussing legal matters, and also that from MP Rayan Peterson. Through you, Madam Chair, the minister mentioned that he already knows they will be more than likely losing 3 cases. Isn't the minister already secretly giving the plaintiffs, or not even secretly giving the plaintiffs information, or even the weakness of government? How does the minister ascertain that he will lose these cases? And is that not dangerous to you, Madam Chair? But the minister, answering another MP, mentioned in the end of his answering that he cannot go into details regarding the Westview openly on the floor of Parliament to not give away the strategy of government. So I want to be clear, Madam Chair, is it then that the minister is giving away the strategy for the other 3 cases and intentionally losing those, or trying to win Westview and not lose that one? So I want to be very clear. And again, I think we have to be very clear on speaking and saying things on the floor of Parliament.
Madam Chair, I have just a few points of clarification. The minister mentioned in answering my question about the Ville-Vert project being issued a warning and the Westview project being issued a stop order was because the Westview project was not in, did not have a civil works permit, and that Ville-Vert did not have their civil works permit on site. Now, I would like the minister to clarify, and I would like the minister to really take his time before answering this clarification. Can the minister clarify, was the warning solely based on the civil works permit not being on site at Ville-Vert, or the civil works permit not covering the full scopes of work being executed at Ville-Vert at the time? Through you, Madam Chair, I would like the minister to really take his time before giving an answer to this question. The minister also alluded to climate resilient measures being taken also with government projects and the climate resilience specifications, etc. He alluded to climate resilience specifications. I would like the minister to clarify some of these specifications which are checked during approval of this climate check. The minister also spoke on the decrees or the submittals for land issuance, and the minister stated, Madam Chair, that once a physical copy or a digital copy of any submittal is in the hands of, in the possession of Romy, that individual will not have to resubmit their request. But I would like for the minister to clarify how.
Now going to regulate the way they issue civil works permit by having a policy. Now, I understand that fully, but the question is, isn't the law pretty clear? And also, Madam Chair, I heard the minister mention that the ministry was not aware of Article 28A. Now I have to ask myself, who is the minister referring to when he mentions the ministry? Because if you ask me, the ministry has been working on reinstating Article 28A since 2013. And it was the ministry that prepared the advice for the law that was passed in 2021. And it was the ministry that sat with me in approving it. So when the minister stated that the ministry was unaware of Article 28A, it raises the alarm, it raises my eyebrows, and it makes me wonder what is really happening. So I would like some clarity on that, Madam Chair, through you. I also heard the minister mention, Madam Chair, that the zoning has no legal basis, but it's just based on best practices. Now, the minister also mentioned something that is very important when he said that you have to have public consultation for these best practices to even be enacted. So my question and clarification through you, Madam Chair, based on what the minister mentioned, did these public consultations take place in the Kupakoi area, Simpson Bay area, and all those areas over there where we have these large-scale developments? Did the zoning consultation take place there in order to enact the best practices? Madam Chair, the reason why I say this is because at the end of the day, we all are human beings. We all have our opinion, how we see things, how we see life. We have progressives, we have conservatives, and I've been always open about expressing myself in terms of we have to build higher. We do not have the space. We are 16 square miles. We always have to build higher. So when I hear certain comments from the minister and our persons in decision-making positions, I really wonder where are we going to put all the people when we run out of space, based on all these limitations with not 24 meters, but 14 meters. Madam Chair, through you, I heard something that, sent off some serious alarms in my head, and I know you as a legal mind, Madam Chair, I saw your eyebrow went up too, maybe it could be for a different reason. I heard the minister mention that on the floor of Parliament, that government is more than likely to lose the next 3 court cases that are there. You are setting up the people of St. Martin, Mr. Minister, through you, Madam Chair, because you cannot, and I'm going to emphasize this, as a defendant, already give away and give up. So when I heard things about 2 months ago about the fact that the ministry, in certain cases, deliberately losing them by not providing information, today, this was a confirmation. This was my confirmation, Madam Chair. So I already could almost congratulate those plaintiffs because the minister already gave away the position of government. But in the case of Westview, I can't comment on it because we're going to give away our strategy. It's quite confusing. It's quite clear what's taking place, Madam Chair. It's a pick and choose situation.
In my response to the second round, I outlined that any grace period would have to be given XY conditions to make favorable. I never presented the option of grace period. I was responding what would grace period would mean or take. So with that, let me just...
Minister,
yeah?
Before you continue, I do remember the MP mentioning in regards to the grace period based on what factors you come to the case-by-case basis. So I don't know if that was answered or not, but that was a question of the MP because I can remember it was my own question that he referred to.
So those are also parts of the questions that we will announce after that are, okay, I'll come back to them. There's a strategy to this. Okay. Yes, then MP Arian had another question about losing court cases currently running. Is the minister not secretly sharing the position and strategy with the plaintiffs? Through you, Madam Chair, allow me to answer this question for MP Arian and MP Duran. As stated, we have 3 cases or its permits issued by MP Duran during his time as Minister of Romy in Beacon Hill. As stated, we have already lost one of these 3 cases. The buildings involved in the 2 remaining cases falls under the exact same development master plan and the exact same draft zoning plan, which regulates what can be built and how high. As such, cases of similar circumstances can expect similar outcomes. The ministry and I are very realistic. While we will try our best to understand the decisions taken in the past, the court, and in fact, the same judge from the previous verdict, have already outlined and repeated the thought process for the decisions for the first and second cases. The third case has not yet commenced, but the conditions are exactly the same. Thus, we expect it to go the exact same way. MP Arian's clarifications. What documentation can Parliament get which the ministry is using to determine the impact of civil works interventions? Or is it a case-by-case basis? And what are those criteria? As stated, the ministry is in the final stages of completing the Civil Works Manual, and if desired, it can, of course, be shared with Parliament. What is the process for revoking building permits over a year where development has not started? There is currently no process for this, nor has it been done before, but it is legally possible. MP Arian's next clarification, Lob Verzoeken. Can Parliament receive the Lob Verzoeken sent by the ministry to the client? Let me clarify. The ministry does not send Lob Verzoeken. We receive Lob Verzoeken. If the MP means can he receive what we have received, we of course are open to sharing this request.
How do ideas become plans? Plans become memories.
So you like my new room?
And dreams become your life.
This is retirement.
Do you remember when hope became a house? When that house became a home? Your ideas are everything, and we're here to help make them happen. Your idea of yes, I can happens here.
Are you SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXV, yeah. Your social health insurances.
24/7 TV programming on www.stmartinmediacenter.com, SXM Daily News, PBS NewsHour, Now You Know, Com programs, documentary, entertainment, sports events, Saturday children's hours, religion programs, and movies. Click on SXM TV broadcast to see your favorite programs.
It is my honor to welcome you to the Centrale Bank van Curaçao and Sint Maarten Symposium titled Better Data, Better Decisions. Today's event marks the second in a series of research-focused symposiums scheduled for this year. In January, we hosted the first symposium of the year in Curaçao, which addressed the critical role of government in the economy. Today's symposium places particular emphasis on the importance of data, particularly balance of payment statistics for research, economic analysis, and policy making. Later this year, in November, the CBCS will host the annual Monetary Studies Conference of the Caribbean Economic Research Team, comprising countries of the Caribbean community. During this conference, researchers from across the Caribbean will come together to share insights on critical and timely economic topics. Central banks conduct economic research to provide an empirical foundation for monetary policy making and to support their advisory role to governments. Moreover, such research fosters dialogue and collaboration with the academic community, regional counterparts, and other key stakeholders. In this regard, data and statistics play a crucial role for both research and policy making. As British physicist, mathematician, and engineer Lord Kelvin once said, "If you cannot measure it, you cannot improve it." However, small countries often face challenges in collecting accurate and reliable statistics due to limited resources, capacity constraints, and vulnerability to external shocks. Sint Maarten is no exception. In addition, we must acknowledge that Sint Maarten is a relatively young country, having begun collecting country-level statistics only 15 years ago. Compounding this is the open border with the French side of the island, which adds further complexity to building a robust and comprehensive statistical system. Against this background, the purpose of today's symposium is threefold. First, we aim to raise awareness on the importance of data and statistics for research, economic analysis, and policy making. Today, we will focus in particular on the balance of payment statistics, which is one of the key data sets compiled by the CBCS. Second, we will present findings from our empirical work with a specific focus on Sint Maarten. Our research shows how balance of payment statistics help us assess Sint Maarten's performance in terms of foreign direct investment inflows and regional integration. And third, we hope to engage with you, receive your feedback, and foster meaningful dialogue that help us improve the quality and relevance of both our statistics and our research. We are also delighted to welcome representatives of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, and in particular Governor Timothy Antoine, who will join us later this afternoon. We look forward to hearing his insights into the experience of small Caribbean economies within CARICOM. His participation highlights the importance of regional cooperation, exchange of experiences, and institutional collaboration.
Your presence here reflects our shared commitment to making informed, effective, and sustainable decisions for our beloved island. This gathering is more than just an event. It's a crucial step toward transforming how we drive economic and social progress through the power of data. St. Maarten is a dynamic society, rich in culture and potential. Yet, one of our greatest challenges remains our limited capacity to collect, analyze, and apply timely and accurate data to guide policy and investment. Few feel this absence more keenly than the central bank, and I commend them for taking this initiative to tackle this long-standing issue. Globally, data has become the most valuable resource. Our economies and communities are increasingly data-driven. Statistics reveal trends, identify opportunities, and highlight vulnerabilities. Whether it's planning tourism, managing financial stability, or designing social programs, access to reliable data is essential. We live in the age of artificial intelligence, where data fuels intelligence. Google's Eric Schmidt once said there were 5 exabytes of information created from the dawn of civilization to 2003. But that much is now created every 2 days. Let that sink in. Every 2 days. This exponential data growth isn't surprising. Data shows us where we are, where we want to go, and how best to get there. It underpins evidence-based policymaking, reduces guesswork, and enhances accountability. It enables us to anticipate challenges and create solutions tailored to our unique realities. The World Bank in 2018 Data for Development report states, data is a strategic asset for small status or small states. But do we in St. Martin treat it as such? Ask anyone seeking reliable data to support investment decisions here, and they'll share frustrating stories. The availability and accessibility of data on our island is far from ideal. I believe the CFT also recently highlighted this gap. Our Department of Statistics under the Ministry of TIAT is doing its best under difficult circumstances, but it needs serious upgrading. Perhaps it should even be made an independent entity so it can operate more efficiently, credibly, and with much greater reach.
Your social and health insurance is your social and health insurance.
Are you SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
Your social and health insurance.
How do ideas become plans? Plans become memories.
So you like my new grill?
And dreams become your life.
This is retirement.
Do you remember when hope became a house? When that house became a home? Your ideas are everything, and we're here to help make them happen. Your idea of yes, I can happens here.
24/7 TV programming on www.stmartinmediacenter.com, SXM Daily News, PBS NewsHour, Now You Know, Com programs, documentary, entertainment, sports events, Saturday children's hours, religion programs, and movies. Click on SXM TV broadcast to see your favorite programs.
Is St. Martin collaborating with international mental health organizations or neighboring countries to enhance its mental health care services? If so, can you provide examples of such collaborations and their impact? Yes, St. Martin is working with several international and regional partners to improve mental health services. PAHO helps St. Martin find gaps in its mental health services and create long-term plans to improve them. Trimbus Institute provides research support, expert advice, and training to build the skills of the local mental health workers. Rhino Zoid offers educational programs to train mental health professionals. St. Martin also takes part in the Federation Dutch Caribbean Mental Health, a group that includes partners from the Dutch Caribbean islands. This helps the Mental Health Foundation to discuss shared challenges and work together on solutions in the region. Question 7. Is the government ensuring that vulnerable groups such as children, the elderly, and individuals living with disabilities have access to appropriate mental health care service? While I recognize that there are gaps in the current system, we currently provide care for vulnerable individuals. Services targeted to specific groups are currently delivered through various foundations. For example, the White and Yellow Cross provides elderly care for individuals with intellectual disabilities, while Turning Point offers services for individuals struggling with addiction. Additionally, mental health services can also be accessed through referral from family physicians or the Department of Social Services. The ministry is actively working to close existing gaps. This includes lowering the barriers of care through the implementation of community-based approaches and improving the structure and coordination of existing foundation that currently offers care on a limited scale. Question 8. With the increasing use of technology, is there any consideration being given to telemedicine or digital mental health platform as part of the government's strategy to improve access to mental health services in St. Martin? Telehealth options are currently being explored, although all full system is not yet in place. The draft National Strategic Mental Health Plan includes telemedicine as part of its vision, recognizing that hybrid models combining digital and impersonal care are often more effective than digital-only approach. While the technology is largely available, we are only at the starting point, and a coordinated evidence-based strategy is needed for sustainable implementation. It's also important to acknowledge that technology is not yet accessible to everyone. Many individuals lack internet access, personal devices, or the privacy needed for virtual care. These realities must be considered as we move forward. Full implementation of telehealth will require a legislative review to ensure patients' rights are fully protected. Question number 9. What systems are in place for individuals experiencing mental health crisis? Are there enough resources for immediate intervention and support in emergency situations? Right now, persons going through a mental health crisis are helped by the Mental Health Foundation. They have a special crisis team made up of trained nurses, case managers, and an on-call psychiatrist. This team steps in to assess and support people in urgent situations. However, there are only a few emergency beds available, so the system can become overwhelming when there are multiple cases simultaneously. Plans are in place to add proper crisis room in the new facility for Mental Health Foundation when it's built. In the meantime, the Mental Health Foundation team works closely with the family doctor, the hospital, and the police to help respond when someone is in crisis or at risk of becoming a crisis patient. While there is a basic system in place, I do recognize the need for more resources and better coordination to ensure everyone gets the timely and proper care in an emergency. Question number 10. How does the Ministry of Health evaluate the effectiveness of mental health care programs in St. Martin? Are there any plans for future assessment or audit of the mental health service available to ensure they meet international standards? At present, the Ministry of Health does not have a structural system in place to regularly evaluate the effectiveness of the mental health care programs. This is largely due to a significant shortage of staff within the departments responsible, which limits the ministry's capacity to conduct formal monitoring and evaluation. However, this gap is being addressed as part of the current reform efforts. A monitoring and evaluation framework is being developed with the support of the Trimbus Institute. This framework would help track the performance and quality of mental health care service going forward. Plans also include the introduction of standardized protocols, clinical guidance, and the referral system. These measures aim to improve consistencies in care, ensure quality, and bring service more in line with international standards.